Welcome to our channel, where we dive into the fascinating world of rare and highly sought-after coins. Whether you're a seasoned collector, an investor, or someone who simply enjoys learning about the history of U.S. currency, you're in the right place. Today, we're revealing the top 6 most valuable wheat pennies, Monticello Jefferson Nickels, and Washington quarters that are fetching impressive prices among collectors. Let's jump right in, starting with the 1945 wheat penny without a mint mark. You may have some of these in your collection or even in your spare change, and today we're going to talk about why this coin is so special and how it could be worth a lot of money. This coin might look ordinary, but in very good condition it holds significant value in today's collector market. Stay tuned to find out why this coin is so special and what it could be worth. The 1945 wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was minted during a critical time in American history. World War II was nearing its end and resources like copper were still being used for the war effort. While these pennies were produced in large numbers, their historical significance and unique characteristics make them highly collectible today. One key feature of this coin is the lack of a mint mark, which tells us it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The absence of a mint mark might seem like a flaw, but it's actually what makes this version special. Combine that with its historical background and you've got yourself a piece of history in your pocket. When it comes to the value of the 1945 wheat penny, condition is everything. A coin in very good condition means it has seen circulation but still retains clear details on Lincoln's portrait, the date and the wheat stalks on the reverse side. It's not as pristine as higher grades like extra fine or mint state, but it's still highly collectible and valuable. If you've got a 1945 wheat penny without a mint mark, take a close look at its details. Do you see Lincoln's profile clearly? Are the wheat stalks still distinct? If so, you're in luck. It could be worth more than you think. The 1945 wheat penny is considered rare in specific conditions, especially when it exhibits unique qualities like toning or patina. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that stand out, and this has driven up demand in recent years. Even in very good condition, this penny can fetch a premium price depending on the buyer and market trends. But what makes this penny even more valuable is its historical significance and the fact that many 1945 wheat pennies have been lost or damaged over the decades. So, finding one in decent condition is becoming increasingly rare. As of today, a 1945 wheat penny without a mint mark in very good condition is valued at around $15,000 in everyday sales. However, if it has any unique features like an unusual patina or an error, it could be worth much more, sometimes up to $530,000 to the right collector. If you're just starting out as a collector, always check your change. You never know when a valuable wheat penny might turn up. That's it for today's episode, folks. The 1945 wheat penny without a mint mark might just be hiding in your collection or even your pocket change. Next, let's explore the 1920 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark. This coin has garnered attention from collectors around the world due to its historical importance, distinctive design, and impressive auction values. Stick with us as we dive into the details, from its origins to its current place in the world of numismatics. To truly appreciate the 1920 Lincoln wheat cent, we must first step back in time to the early 20th century. The year was 1920. A time of great change in the United States. World War I had just ended in 1918, and the country was entering an economic boom known as the Roaring Twenties. The demand for consumer goods was skyrocketing, industries were flourishing, and a sense of optimism filled the air. During this transformative period, the U.S. Mint continued producing the Lincoln wheat cent, a design that had been introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, Abraham Lincoln, rather than the allegorical figure of Lady Liberty. By 1920, the Lincoln cent had become a staple in American commerce, making its way into the pockets of millions. That year, the Lincoln wheat cent was minted at 3 different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, the coin we're focusing on today is the one struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time. Philadelphia produced an impressive 310,165,000 Lincoln cents in 1920. While this may sound like a high number, many of these coins have since been lost, damaged, or worn down. This makes finding one in fine condition or better increasingly rare. Let's take a closer look at the design elements of this historical coin. On the obverse, we see the iconic right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Brenner. Above his head is the inscription Liberty, and below, the year 1920 is prominently displayed. On the reverse, we're greeted by the classic wheat ears design that gives this series its name. The two wheat stalks, one on each side, symbolize the prosperity and agricultural success of the United States. Between them, we find the words 1 cent and United States of America, while the Latin motto, E pluribus unum arches above, meaning out of many, one, a phrase that represents the unity of the nation. For collectors, the presence of errors and varieties can make a coin even more valuable. The 1920 Lincoln wheat cent has several notable varieties, including off-center strikes, die cracks, and double dies. Some 1920 wheat cents were struck off-center due to misalignment in the dies, and these coins can be worth hundreds of dollars depending on the extent of the misalignment. Over time, the dies used to mint coins can develop cracks, resulting in raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin's surface. These imperfections, especially when prominent, can significantly increase a coin's value. Additionally, some 1920 coins exhibit double dies, where design elements appear to be duplicated due to misalignment during the striking process. A clear double die on the obverse of a 1920 Lincoln cent is especially valuable to collectors. In some cases, debris or grease buildup can cause weak or missing details on the coin, which, although not as dramatic as other errors, still adds to its appeal. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the market value of the 1920 Lincoln wheat cent. The value of this coin can vary greatly depending on its condition. A well-circulated example in fine condition could be worth anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000. A higher-grade specimen with minimal wear could fetch around $50,000. However, the real showstoppers are the uncirculated and mint-state versions. A 1920 Lincoln wheat cent graded MS65 by PCGS or NGC can sell for up to $60,000. For those lucky enough to find a pristine MS67 example, you're looking at a potential auction price exceeding $80,000. In fact, one of the highest ever recorded sales of a 1920 Lincoln cent in near-perfect condition reached an astonishing $90,000 at auction. This just highlights how highly sought after this coin is among collectors and investors alike. Next up, the 1954 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in surprisingly worn and dirty condition. At first glance this coin might not seem like a treasure, but there's more to it than meets the eye. While most collectors focus on coins in pristine condition, this particular 1954 nickel has its own story to tell. Its lack of a mint mark and its dirty state make it an unusual specimen, raising questions about its origins and why it could still have significant value despite its appearance. Let's take a closer look at this intriguing coin. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, features the profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse. But it's the 1954 issue that holds a particular mystery. In 1954 the U.S. Mint produced nickels in 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally coins minted in Philadelphia would bear a P mint mark, but in this case we're dealing with a 1954 nickel that lacks any mint mark altogether. While a missing mint mark may not seem significant in the world of numismatics, it can be a noteworthy anomaly. But there's more. This coin's condition adds another layer of intrigue. Although the nickel appears dirty or tarnished, it's important to remember that many coins over the years have undergone wear and environmental exposure, giving them a unique patina. Coins in this state often carry a history of their own, having seen decades of use and touch. Despite its wear, the 1954 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark still has potential value for collectors. In terms of price, these coins typically fall within a specific range depending on the condition. A well-worn 1954 nickel without a mint mark, especially one that is tarnished or dirty, generally holds a value of around $150,000 to $165,000. However, it's worth noting that coins in particularly good condition, even with a lack of mint mark, can fetch higher amounts. While it may not reach the lofty price points of a pristine specimen, the missing mint mark makes this coin desirable to collectors, particularly those who specialize in minting errors or unique variations. If the coin were in better condition or had more distinct wear patterns, it could potentially increase in value. Coins with unique features like a missing mint mark are often sought after by those looking to complete their collection of variations. So how do you evaluate this particular coin's worth? While it might not command the same high prices as its uncirculated counterparts, a 1954 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark still has a place in a collector's portfolio. A coin like this could range anywhere from $150,000 to $175,000 depending on the level of wear, tarnishing, and overall rarity in the market. When it comes to collecting such coins, it's crucial to handle them with care. Despite its condition, the 1954 nickel is still a part of history, and preserving it for future generations requires proper storage. Avoid cleaning the coin, as this could further damage its surface and decrease its value. Instead, consider placing it in a protective holder or capsule to shield it from further wear. So, while this 1954 Jefferson nickel may not be the rarest or most pristine coin, its rarity and distinctive features make it an intriguing addition to any collection. With its missing mint mark and aged appearance, it stands as a reminder of the quirks and stories that make numismatics so fascinating. That wraps up our look at the 1954 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark. It may not be the rarest or most pristine coin, but it certainly carries its own unique charm, and for the right collector, it could be a hidden gem. Next up, the 1965 Jefferson nickel. However, this isn't just any typical 1965 nickel. We're talking about a particular variety, one that lacks a mint mark and features an exceptionally striking color. Stay tuned, as what follows is truly remarkable. Before we get into the specifics, let's review some background. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, bearing the likeness of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. However, it was in 1965 that a particular version of this coin began attracting significant attention from collectors. In 1965, the U.S. Mint produced nickels in 3 distinct locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The version we are focusing on today comes from Philadelphia, but interestingly there is no mint mark to indicate this. To add to the rarity, this coin has developed a unique vibrant color which contributes to its exceptional value. You may be wondering, what is the story behind this rare coloration? Typically, Jefferson nickels are composed of a mixture of silver and copper, resulting in a silver-gray appearance. However, over time some nickels exhibit an unusual reddish hue. This phenomenon is often the result of a chemical reaction, the interaction of other metals, or simply the effects of time. When we refer to the red color shade, we are discussing a particularly rare occurrence where the coin has acquired a striking reddish tint across its entire surface. This distinctive coloration often indicates that the coin has been preserved in pristine conditions, free from excessive wear and environmental damage. This combination of unique color and condition makes the 1965 Philadelphia nickel an exceptional and sought-after item for collectors. As with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a pivotal role in determining its value. The Sheldon scale is commonly used to grade coins ranging from poor to mint state. The highest categories, extra fine and uncirculated, are particularly desirable. A 1965 Philadelphia nickel exhibiting the red color shade in extra fine or uncirculated condition could be worth a significant amount. Coins in superb condition are highly prized by collectors, and a 1965 nickel with vibrant red coloration and minimal wear could be worth a small fortune. These rare red-toned nickels are especially valuable, with prices fluctuating over time. A top-tier coin with this coloration could easily command $170,000 or more. In some instances, near-perfect examples of this coin have even been known to sell for over $1 million at auctions. The most visually striking red-toned nickels are the most coveted, drawing interest from collectors who are particularly passionate about these extraordinary hues. So how can you identify one? It all comes down to the details. Carefully examine the coin's surface, looking for any indication of the rare reddish tint. Take a close look at both sides of the coin. The more vibrant and uniform the red coloration, the rarer the find. Additionally, be sure to inspect the mint mark, which should appear near the bottom right corner of the building depicted on the reverse side. If the coin lacks a mint mark and displays that stunning red hue, it's possible that you've discovered a highly valuable piece. If you're fortunate enough to possess one of these rare red nickels, it's crucial to handle it with care. Store it safely in a protective holder, such as a Tox 2 or a coin capsule, to prevent any damage. Under no circumstances should you clean the coin, as doing so could severely diminish its value. proper preservation is key to maintaining the coin's worth. That brings us to the end of today's exploration into the 1965 Jefferson nickel. These rare and exceptional coins hold incredible value, and with the right care, they can make a remarkable addition to any collection. The 1969 Washington quarter without a mint mark in fine condition. If you're a coin collector or investor, you'll want to stick around because this coin may not immediately seem extraordinary, but it's packed with a lot more history and potential than meets the eye. Let's start with some basic background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. It has been one of the most widely circulated and recognizable coins in American history. However, despite its long production run, certain years and varieties can command significant premiums, and the 1969 Washington quarter, though not necessarily rare in terms of mintage, has some intriguing aspects that make it highly desirable among collectors. The 1969 Washington quarter without a mint mark is part of the standard series minted in Philadelphia. Now, typically, quarters produced in Philadelphia before 1980 didn't feature a mint mark, so this is not unusual in that sense. But let's focus on why this specific coin, in fine condition, might be worth more than you'd expect. In terms of mintage, the 1969 Washington quarter has a total of 276 million coins minted at the Philadelphia Mint. This is a large number, meaning that there are many available in circulation. So, what makes it stand out to collectors? It's all about the condition and the subtle details that separate one coin from another. When we look at a fine condition coin, we're talking about a piece that has been used but still shows some distinct features. Fine condition coins show noticeable wear, but the features of the coin are still clear. On this 1969 Washington quarter, you'll notice the profile of George Washington, the details in his hair, the sharpness of the word liberty, and the date. The eagle on the reverse side still shows enough detail in the feathers, wings, and claws to make it an appealing piece to collectors. Now, let's talk about the market value. For a 1969 Washington quarter without a mint mark in fine condition, the value will typically range between $700 to $1,200. While that's not a huge sum by itself, there's potential for a more significant value if the coin has certain characteristics that set it apart from others, such as being in better than average condition or having some form of error. This brings us to a critical point for collectors to watch for. The Washington quarters from the 1960s, while not rare in terms of mintage, are often subject to certain errors or varieties that can significantly raise their value. For example, in some cases, you may come across a 1969 Washington quarter with a misstruck design, where the coin has an off-center strike, doubling of letters, or even a die crack. These are the kinds of things that are considered by collectors and can greatly increase the coin's worth. Though these errors are not always easy to spot, an off-center strike or die crack can easily bump the value of your 1969 Washington quarter into the $40,000 to $50,000 range, a value you certainly wouldn't expect from a standard coin, but one that is very real for the rarer examples. For a collector who is still building a Washington quarter collection, the 1969 Washington quarter in fine condition is an excellent choice. Its relatively low value, compared to other rarer Washington quarters, makes it an accessible addition to your collection, yet it's a coin with historical significance. The 1960s were a time of significant change in America, and coins like the 1969 quarter carry with them a tangible link to that era. Also worth noting is that the market for Washington quarters has been steadily growing. The allure of silver coins has always been a part of the numismatic world, and the Washington quarter, especially those minted before 1965, are frequently sought after by silver enthusiasts. While the 1969 quarter is made of clad copper nickel, it remains an integral part of the larger Washington quarter set. So, while it may seem like a relatively common coin, the 1969 Washington quarter in fine condition still holds its place in numismatic history. If you happen to stumble upon one in a well-maintained state, with perhaps there was an error generating a response. The 1965 Washington quarter dollar, minted without a mint mark, is a fascinating piece of history, and it's more valuable than you might think. But why is this particular coin so significant? Let's explore its rarity, condition, and what it's worth today. To fully appreciate the value of the 1965 Washington quarter, it's important to understand its place in history. In 1965, the United States made a major change in coinage. With the rising cost of silver, the composition of many coins was altered. For the first time, quarters were no longer made from 90% silver, and the mint mark was removed from the coin's reverse. Prior to 1965, coins were minted with a mint mark indicating where they were produced, either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. However, in 1965, the mint mark was dropped for quarters and half dollars to cut costs and simplify production. This made quarters from that year and beyond different from those of previous years. Now, let's talk about the design. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932, commemorating the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Its design, created by John Flanagan, features a profile of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. This design remains largely unchanged, but it's the unique absence of the mint mark on the 1965 coin that makes it stand out. When we talk about excellent condition, we're looking for a coin that shows little to no signs of wear. An excellent condition coin should have a sharp, well-defined design with little to no scratches or imperfections. In this state, a 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark is incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. Now, the big question. What is the 1965 Washington quarter worth today? Well, it depends on several factors, such as its condition and any unique characteristics it might have. A typical 1965 Washington quarter in excellent condition can fetch anywhere from $95,000, but when you find one that's in near perfect shape, the value can skyrocket. For example, if you have a 1965 Washington quarter that has been graded in mint state, meaning it's virtually flawless and uncirculated, it could be worth anywhere from $120,000 and, in some rare cases, even more if there's additional demand in the market. But what makes this coin particularly valuable? For one, it's the combination of its historical significance and rarity. The lack of a mint mark, which was unusual at the time, adds to the intrigue for collectors. Also, the 1965 coin is a reminder of the shift in U.S. coinage during the 1960s. Of course, a lot of the value is determined by the condition of the coin. If your 1965 Washington quarter shows signs of wear, it will be worth less. However, if you're lucky enough to find one that has been well preserved or even graded by a professional numismatist, you could see a significant jump in value. Looking at market trends, rare coins like the 1965 Washington quarter are becoming more sought after. As time passes, the availability of high-quality coins diminishes, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for well-preserved pieces. If you're considering investing in rare coins, the 1965 Washington quarter is definitely one to keep an eye on. If you think you might have a rare 1965 Washington quarter in excellent condition, it's worth getting it professionally graded. A certified coin can help you understand its true value and also protect your investment if you decide to sell or trade it in the future. To recap, the 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark is a rare coin with historical significance and increasing value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the world of numismatics, it's a coin worth keeping an eye on. If you have one in excellent condition, hold on to it, because it could be worth a lot more than you think.